Vikings lose a game out in California on the grass to the Niners. So now the Niners are 6-5, Minnesota's 5-6. Dalvin Cook gets carted off. Shoulder. That is not a good sign when they bring out the cart for a shoulder. When you're thinking about the Vikings now, I feel like every week we sort of throw our hands up. But what are you thinking right now about the Vikings? That's expression. That's exactly it.
No, I expected them to lose this game because I believe much more in the San Francisco 49ers. I thought that the Niners were going to win this game. When I look at the Vikings, okay, they just dropped under 500. Well, next week, I don't even know who they're playing. They're going to win that game because they're going to stay at 500. That's what Mike Zimmer and that's what Kirk Cousins tend to do. Are they going to get hot in the second half of December? Perhaps, but Dalvin Cook never got going. And that shoulder injury, we don't yet know the severity of it. Obviously, if it's going to keep him out for games, plural, you can go ahead and stick a fork in the Minnesota Vikings' chances. But they've been going through a number of things this season that really, you have to take seriously. They've had a number of COVID issues there, including one player who was hospitalized. We know that Everson Griffin was just placed on the non-football injury list as he has dealt with mental health. And then, of course, you just have regular football issues as well that Mike Zimmer, along with the special teams miscues and woes that seem to always follow this Vikings team under Zimmer. So any number of things, they keep acting like a 500 team. Again, next week, now
Detroit.
that they, yeah, right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I just looked. That's what you said. And
they'll win.
The next 3 weeks are pretty good. Detroit, Pittsburgh, Chicago. Very winnable games the next three for Minnesota. But again, we'll have to see what's going on with Dalvin Cook. They've had some challenges this week off the field. Now Dalvin Cook, we don't know what the extent of that injury is. And this has been a team that's found a way to win as many games as give away as many games. It just seems like it is. They're the only team in the NFL to have led in every game this year, right? They led in every game this year. And they led again today by a touchdown, by 7 or more. And that's what they did. Every game, they're up a touchdown. And in this one, they give it away. What about the Niners? Do we start to believe? I mean, 2 years ago, this team's up 10 points in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl. I mean, it's not the same team. I get it. The defensive coordinator of that team is now head coach of the Jets. But a lot of those guys are there. Do we believe?
No, we don't believe. And the reason why we don't believe in the Niners is due to the fact that San Francisco struggles, in my opinion, in coverage. Minnesota had their way with that secondary with just two guys. And you talk about Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. Yeah, two of the best receivers in the NFL. However, you are an NFL defensive back. You have to be able to cover. They couldn't cover all game long. And it took until that fumble, which was a huge play in the game with Dalvin Cook. When he got hurt, he dropped the football. They recovered. They go in and score. And that gave them the points to ultimately win the game. But I worry about their secondary. I worry about their passing game. Deebo Samuel was banged up in this ball game as well. He's their pseudo 1B in terms of being a tailback and how much he carries the football. They don't utilize Brandon Ayuk like they should. So I am totally out on San Francisco. They'll be competitive because they have talent and they can run the football, and teams down in the NFL don't want to stop the run. But in terms of believing in them moving forward, they just got up on Minnesota because of the turnover, which is, you can't say, oh, they lucked up and won, but that's essentially what happened. So I think, that's the type of game they're going to play.
Do you want to paint a rosier picture about San Francisco, or do you want to second that emotion?
No, I like San Francisco. I like that when they get down in the red zone, they score the football. I completely agree with you that in the defensive backfield, they have their issues. They had to pull Josh Norman off the street a couple of weeks ago, and now, he's been a key contributor back there. It's not just, hey, get us through a couple of weeks, Josh. He's back there, and he's starting back there. But I look at the Niners, and I say Jimmy Garoppolo is doing enough. I look at their run game, and Kyle Shanahan in that scheme, he can get anybody 75 rushing yards, and that is exactly what he's doing this year, as he has done in previous years. And again, the defense holding up its end of the bargain. But something, interestingly enough, in this Week 12 in the NFL, it was the mentor beating the mentee. It was Bill Belichick beating Mike Vrabel, right? It was, Vic Fangio beating Brandon Staley in that AFC West tilt. And then it was Kyle Shanahan taking care of business against his old guy in Kirk Cousins. Just an interesting thread that we saw throughout this Sunday.
All right, so that's where we are with what happened in the late slate of games. Straight ahead, Sunday night.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.